I want you to think back, not 10 years ago, not 20. A few years ago, you were with your partner. The moment was right. The connection was there. And your body just responded naturally without thinking about it. You didn't plan it. You didn't worry about it. It just happened. Now, fast forward to today, maybe it starts fine, but then it fades. Or maybe it doesn't start at all, and you lie there in the dark running through every possible explanation. Was it the stress? The wine? Was I too tired? Is something wrong with me? And then, the worst part, the look on your partner's face, even if they say nothing, even if they're kind about it. You saw it, and you felt it. So you started avoiding situations where it might happen again. You go to bed a little later. You find reasons to be tired because it's easier to avoid than to fail.
And somewhere deep down, a thought has crept in that you've never said out loud.
Maybe this is just who I am now. I want to stop you right there because what I'm about to tell you is not about false hope. It's not a supplement ad. It's not a miracle cure. It is the actual medical explanation, backed by peer-reviewed research, for what is happening inside your body. And once you understand the real cause, the path forward becomes a lot clearer than you think. First, you need to know how common this is. Because most men think they're the only one. They're not. Research shows that around 50% of men in their 50s experience some degree of erectile dysfunction. By the 60s, that number climbs to nearly 70%. This is one of the most prevalent medical conditions in men over 50 and one of the least talked about. Now, here's what most people, and even some doctors, get wrong about why it happens. The common assumption is that it's mainly psychological: stress, anxiety, performance pressure, and yes, those things are real and they matter. But in men over 50, the research is very clear. The primary driver of erectile dysfunction is physical. It is vascular. It is a problem with blood flow. And specifically, it starts with something called endothelial dysfunction. The endothelium is the thin inner lining of your blood vessels. When it's healthy, it produces a molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is what signals the smooth muscle in your penile arteries to relax and allow blood to rush in. That rush of blood is what creates an erection. But when the endothelium is damaged by age, by high blood pressure, by high blood sugar, by inflammation, by years of poor sleep or stress, it stops producing enough nitric oxide. The vessels don't relax properly. The blood flow is restricted. And the erection either doesn't happen or it starts and fades. That is the number one reason men over 50 lose erections. Not willpower, not attraction, not age. Endothelial dysfunction, impaired blood flow. Now I want to explain something that most men are never told, and it's important. The penile arteries are small, much smaller than the coronary arteries around your heart. Research published in cardiology journals describes this clearly. The penile arteries are roughly 1 to 2 millimeters in diameter. The coronary arteries are 3 to 4 millimeters. What that means is this: the same level of vascular damage that is invisible in your heart shows up first in your erections. Multiple peer-reviewed studies now describe erectile dysfunction as an early warning signal for cardiovascular disease. A landmark 2023 paper in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology Advances put it directly: ED should be considered an early marker of endothelial injury, potentially appearing years before a cardiac event. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this because it reframes everything. Erectile dysfunction in men over 50 is not a bedroom problem. It is a vascular health problem. And that means the things that improve vascular health improve this, not as a side effect. As a direct mechanism, the conditions most associated with ED in men over 50 are high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, obesity, and smoking. Each one damages the endothelium. Each one reduces nitric oxide production. Each one restricts blood flow. If you have any of these, and many men over 50 do, that is where the solution lives. Before I tell you what actually works, I need to talk about what doesn't. Because men over 50 spend a significant amount of money every year on things that don't address the root cause. Testosterone-boosting supplements. The research on most commercially sold testosterone supplements is weak at best. While low testosterone can contribute to low libido, it is rarely the primary cause of erectile dysfunction in men over 50. The erection mechanism is vascular, not purely hormonal. Boosting testosterone with supplements will not fix damaged blood vessels. Herbal remedies and natural ED cures. Some herbs like ginseng have very modest evidence, emphasis on modest. None of them repair endothelial damage. None of them address the underlying vascular condition. Watching more porn to practice. This actually makes things worse. Pornography can desensitize the arousal response and increase performance anxiety. Two things that actively work against you. This is a topic I'll cover in a dedicated video. Avoiding the problem entirely. I know it feels safer, but avoiding sexual situations increases anxiety, weakens the psychological connection with your partner, and removes any opportunity for the natural arousal response to function. None of these address what is actually wrong, the health of the blood vessels that supply the erection. So, what does work? What does the research actually support? The answer is interventions that directly improve endothelial function and blood flow. Here are the 4 with the strongest evidence. Number 1, aerobic exercise. This is the most well-supported intervention for vascular-related ED, not just for general health, specifically for the endothelium. Regular, moderate to vigorous aerobic exercise, walking at pace, cycling, swimming, increases nitric oxide production in blood vessel walls, reduces arterial stiffness, and improves blood flow throughout the body, including to the penile arteries. A meta-analysis in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that aerobic exercise significantly improved erectile function in men with ED associated with cardiovascular risk factors. The recommendation for men over 50, 30 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise at least 4 days per week. Consistency over intensity. Number 2, diet, specifically a Mediterranean-style diet. Multiple studies show that a diet rich in vegetables, legumes, whole grains, olive oil, nuts, and fish reduces inflammation, improves endothelial function, and independently improves erectile function. The mechanism is direct. Less arterial inflammation means better nitric oxide production, means better blood flow. Number 3, managing the underlying conditions. If you have high blood pressure, treating it. If you have diabetes, controlling blood sugar. If you have high cholesterol, addressing it. These are not just general health recommendations. They are directly targeting the cause of the ED. There is one important note here. Some blood pressure medications, particularly older beta blockers and diuretics, can actually worsen erectile dysfunction as a side effect. If you are on blood pressure medication and struggling with ED, do not stop your medication, but do speak to your doctor. There are alternative medications that are less likely to affect sexual function. I will make a dedicated video on this topic because it is widely misunderstood. Number 4, PDE5 inhibitors, medications like sildenafil and tadalafil, known as Viagra and Cialis. These are the most effective pharmacological treatment for vascular ED, and they work directly on the nitric oxide pathway. They do not create desire. They do not work without arousal. But for men with endothelial dysfunction, they restore the physiological response that the damaged blood vessels can no longer produce on their own. They are well studied, widely used, and for most men without contraindications, safe. If your doctor hasn't mentioned them and you're struggling, it's worth asking. There is no shame in using a tool that works. I want to end on this because it matters. If you are over 50 and experiencing consistent erectile dysfunction, not just an occasional off night, but a pattern, this is a reason to see your doctor. Not because something is catastrophically wrong, but because ED in this age group is frequently the first visible sign of a vascular issue that hasn't shown up anywhere else yet. When you go, ask for a cardiovascular risk assessment, a fasting blood glucose test to check for prediabetes or diabetes, a lipid panel for cholesterol, and a blood pressure evaluation. And if you want, ask about your testosterone levels. They may or may not be a factor, but it's worth knowing. ED is not a death sentence. It is not permanent by default. It is not proof that your body has given up. In many cases, it is a signal, your body's way of telling you that something in your vascular health needs attention. The men who act on that signal are the ones who get results. The men who ignore it or now are accepted as inevitable are the ones who look back years later and wish they had acted sooner. You watched this video. That already means you're not ignoring it. If this gave you something useful, something you hadn't been told before, I want to ask you one thing. Leave a comment below. Tell me, was there something in this video that surprised you? Something your doctor has never explained? I read every comment, and I respond, because that conversation matters more to me than the view count. The next video covers something closely connected to this, how blood pressure medications can affect your sex life, and and what to do about it. That video is right here. Subscribe if you haven't. This channel has one standard: medically accurate, age-specific, and honest. No exaggeration, no miracle promises. Just real information for men who deserve better than clickbait. I'll see you in the next one.